Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back here. Yeah, I probably have to say hello, everybody. Welcome back here because he wasn't going live, but now it is. Now the computer said that it is. All right. So, what are we gonna talk about today? For it, um, talking about the stages of expansions, but those stages of expansion as a twin flame, and talking about this positive energy that it's gonna comes in and actually help you to overcome the issues within the connection and helping you with everything that it's out you're gonna be facing as a twin flame. First of all, you're gonna be reminding yourself your personal expansion. We're gonna talk about this for it, and then we're gonna talk about what we do to overcome this and what is actually your powers as a twin flames are coming in. Those powers they are famous with this, and people will be searching on answers. Hopefully, as you guys see the message that this help in your journey, guys. I want to say thank you for being here, welcome here, and thank you for watching and support and buying a coffee and so on. Love the coffee, thank you guys. MV bought a coffee the last time, and I want to say thank you, MV. So I appreciate it. And without other ado, I'm gonna give you Paulina, and we're gonna get started.
Yeah, first I want also to recognize JCKC because we had another coffee coming up. So thank you for that. Thank you for all support and thanks for watching. Yeah, today's discussion is a little bit. It's again some kind of a download that we saw, especially me. I was looking into those states how we are we are changing as we progress and as we reach this inner union. You can feel like you're embracing all your inner powers and you're on the top of the tops. Like you feel like you really not lack anything, you don't need anything, everything is beautiful, everything is cooperating with the universe. And then that's the moment that you will be entering the next stage. So that's why we call it like stages of expansion, because that's how it feels. It feels like if you decide to cross over, because that's once you've achieved everything that your soul wanted to achieve at the individual level, and that's how you call it this inner union, you'll be presented with other opportunities. And I believe very often it's gonna be another soul connection, or maybe the previous twin flame connection that was before separation started, because that's gonna be asking you to expand further. And those first stages, first moments of this new stage of expansion can feel like, oh, did I regress? Like, I don't feel that complete. I don't feel that achieved, fulfilled, and integrated as I was feeling as a single person, like single individual when I didn't have anyone in my field. So that was giving me a little thoughts about it, that it's just really relative. There is no perfection in this journey, and once you think you reach some fulfillment and you're at your 100%, you're just reaching the next stage. So it just can be a little bit confusing, as you may have feelings that, oh, am I doing something wrong, or did I start neglecting myself? Like, why I don't feel my super incredible powers all the time? Like, what happened in there? So that's just the word introduction, like how I see those things, how it's really expanding your view. Like it's a constant movement just to embrace more dimensions, more understandings, and just expanding along other people once you achieve that on your own.
Hi, Butterfly. Hello to you too. Thank you for coming in. Here is it. Data personal expansion, and I mentioned that years ago. When you begin to expand, okay, you had that light ball, and when you are in that light, you're staying within the light, and the light it's coming into you as a growth, as a movement, and so on. But in the outside of the light, you are facing more darkness, and you're going to find out these expansions within you within the darkness, because you're shining more light. You seeing it more stuff in there in a personal level as they're coming in to you. And as you facing it in a personal level, you beginning to understanding what is the impact of that personal level, and you get the downloads of what you should do as a partner. If you don't have a partner, you are preparing yourself for that partner. The universe is preparing you for that partner. And when that energy is coming in, then that expansion is gonna comes in, and whatever you've been shining the light on, basically what you've been working on it for it, then you begin to understand it. Now you know it. You're happy, you're satisfied, you have more light, you have more things is in there, and all of a sudden you expand again. And then you're going to be asking yourself on a personal level, what is it going on? But when we're talking about twin flames, when we're talking about this collective union within the two of it, for it, when that expansion begins to happen for it, is right now that light, it's the combined light. And when they expand, they're going to feel more of these energies in there, and they're going to be facing a different expansion as a collective within. And when you get into that energies in there, you're going to be understanding these expansions they need to happen. And the power of the twin flame that it comes in is the mutual support that they have. This is why the most powerful thing as a twin flame is. Hopefully, you guys understand it there. The power of supportive partner, but also you are the supportive partner. You support your support partner supporting you. That is it happens through communications. When you communicate, what the heck is going on the inside? You're seeing it. You maybe not seeing the things. You maybe not seeing it that. And the partner is catching you within that moment, and then you give the favor back. And then that mutual expansion, okay? Because you're going to be facing in your expansion, your partner is going to be facing their expansion, and then you mutually going to be expanding with this, okay? And that is how it's going to comes in for it. And that connection is the power in there. You're going to face different stages. You can face a stages on emotional, and energy, on a psychological level, and so on and so on. But that expansion is going to show you your partnership in there that you can. So getting back into Paulina.
Hmm. Hi, everyone who joined the chat so far. I missed that. Hi, Karen and Butterfly. Um, yeah, two points were coming to me. Like, first, when you were talking about this sharing just putting the light outside, the moment you decide to stay in this comfort zone that you've embraced everything you had to embrace, like you're in this state of perfection. It may feel like your light is very bright, very strong, but at the same time, it's pretty limited. So that's kind of like a natural state. Like you may feel like you're getting more and more into your powers, and there is a limit to it. Like your light just cannot reach any higher. Like you're still staying in your ideal bubble, and of course you're gonna be spreading a lot of light, but it would feel like there is a limit to it, some thresholds. So it's probably that, like the encouragement not to see those uncomfortable states that you feel a little bit lost, and just getting an overview on bigger areas, just to keep working on that and be gentle with yourself, that you will get back to your balance. But and then you will be able to share the light on an even bigger area, bigger community. Like you will start probably having more impacts on more people, because it's easy to fall in this like a constant crowd, constant number of people, and constant circle. But and you will be feeling super comfortable with that, and you will be having more and more light, but there is more job to be done. And that's how I see it. But also, it was coming to me that those moments that we are working on ourselves, we are embracing all our emotions, like we are mastering it. But at the same time, as you increase in your awareness, it's as if you still need to rebalance those emotions once you reach the next stage. So that's why I think it's what happens is that we are getting connected to other people after reaching certain threshold, just to mm, somehow rearrange our emotions, like just to improve them by this higher conscious awareness. And I think that's why it may feel like those older states of discomfort or anger, sadness, and all of that, you will be going through that again. It doesn't go anywhere. But just to find an explanation why it happens, it feels like with this increased awareness, you have to go with that and with another human being, just to see how you're navigating those states and how you're implementing your spirituality with those new states. And it's just a little bit of, it may feel like balancing out the energy. So at least that's how I feel it. Like those lower emotions, they are not going anywhere, and not to be surprised. It's You're not doing anything wrong once again.
Those lower emotions, as we talking about, guys. Some of you, because during those lower moments, you took a permanent decisions of those moments. And this is what Paulina is talking about, the moment you facing that threshold. When you switching from all this glamorous energy of light, all those situations, and you going into the next stage, you going into the next phase. And guess what? You're facing similar things in a whole another expanded area. Your brother, now you're dealing with more, facing more issues out there because you get off of your zone of comfort. Okay, your zone of comfort is like here, but now you expand it like this. Now this has to become your zone of comfort first. That growth that you made it, you have to be comfortable with what you grow, and then the zone of that you need to work on it is expanding your capacity within. Most of the people, what they do in there, when the person has these issues between that expansion and understanding what is it, that new things that needs to be worked on it, any health problems, any issues, and so on, all this is emerging from within, and it's a heart, they put in the harness onto the partner. While within the real connections with this as a twin flame, you don't put it in there, guys. You don't. You work it out, but you share it with your partner, but you're not putting it into their shoulders. The partner understands what you're going through because the partner goes through similar things. She doesn't put it on my shoulder because she works her stuff, I work my stuff, but we all collectively expanding in there because what I work on it and what she works on it, we're putting it together because that togetherness in there is that mutual expansion. But what is the most twin flames does is one of the hardest things it's coming, they point the finger towards the twin flame, towards your soul connection, is like, he didn't did the job, she did not did the job. While they're not understanding, the person have a hard time expanding. If you overcome that personal expansion state within yourself as a twin flame, you're going to be able to expand later on with somebody else. But if you don't able to expand that in a personal level, how are you going to be expanding with the persons that you're going to be on a soul contract after that, and a soul connections? You're expanding this for the universe. It's not going to working properly. But if you have this um, mentality, emotionally, energetically, and everything that it's in there, that it goes on at the same time, because this period can take quite a bit of time. The more things you're dealing with it, the more situations is getting it, the more expansions you make, then the next expansion is going to be even bigger. Okay, you have for not reaching 100% capacity using of your abilities and your brain. So don't limit yourself, expand, please. Paulina knew why I was laughing in there. Talking about this guy here. But without being a short, okay, before you do anything, can make decisions in there. the things are uncomfortable. Don't take permanent decisions based of this temporary shift from that light and that energies in there to that energy of expansion. And one thing that is going to help you is your communications. Communicate. If they don't want to communicate, if they don't want to talk about it, if they don't want to face it, if they don't want to be next to you in your hardest moments, what is that? Is that a connection? No. Okay. You need to understand the universe also works with that actions is in there from the both individual, not just one. Okay. Back to you, darling, because I talk too much, I guess.
Oh, it's okay. No, you know what was coming to me right now? Those moments that we are put into some situations that are not comfortable, and those difficulties, and somehow sometimes it includes other person that it's maybe you're still kind of working through the runner chaser dynamic. But overall, I think it always asks you to believe in your own self and just being ready to work no matter how the other side is responding, because it's somehow the that's what you have to master once you really want to get into those soul connections. Because the way I see it is, those moments that you are still on your own in the journey, those stages that you are trying to figure out the connection, and maybe the other person is not ready to fully commit, and they just cannot continue with you at the current moment. For you, this is a test to choose this journey no matter what, and just really say to yourself, I can still do my work, like I can still expand on my own, because apparently that's what the situation is asking currently. So I remember there was we were talking about it, and I'm happy because it just kind of popped up right now. It's talking about the moderation in the journey, and moderation in terms of how much you have to control the journey, because overall all it's about the expansion, it under all the circumstances. So sometimes you will be asked to perform on your own, and this first phase of this major expansion, you go into after ignition state. That's what you're embracing. You're showing yourself, are you ready to work on the journey with or without your partner? It doesn't mean specific person, but with a support or not a support, not to be dependent on it, because there will be moments that even throughout those soul connections, that's what we are practicing. Sometimes it can be like emotional body will be in shutdown mode, because you have some things going on, some reconfigurations, some upgrades, and you will see, okay, my emotional body just went to sleep, and I can see there this layer of connection is kind of shut down. So then you may even feel like, "Yeah, I'm detached from my partner. Does it mean that I cannot do my job?" You will still be continuing to do your job, because you kind of heal this codependency during separations stage. So I just can see how this first phase that you may feel left out, that oh my god, the separation happened, but it's such a beautiful and powerful period that you can just really prepare yourself for what comes next. And it's a very unique time when you can focus all of your energy just on you, and you don't really shouldn't feel guilty about it. It's because I can see this is such a unique stage that it's once you've passed the threshold, like there's always something else, but especially those individual times that you are for yourself and no one else, and that's what you have to learn to give this self-love. It's just a beautiful period, and I wish people would get quicker out of this emotional detachment to the journey, and just see, okay, the universe just gave me space for my own expansion, and just testing me how I can take care of myself, because that's just the first step.
So much energy comes in as you talk, darling. Um, the one of the upgrades you guys going to get is to understanding what is that the mutual that you're working, and what is that the personal that you're going to work, and what is the benefit of helping to each other of the collective. I'm gonna give you some two examples as they came in. Okay, you're the man in the house. You're working in the garage. You do your stuff, right? The woman does the laundry. She does her stuff. And you guys think that it's okay because everyone work what they're supposed to work. But what's gonna happen if the man helps the woman with the laundry, they're doing it together, then the woman helps the man within the garage because it's collective work. Okay? How happy you will be if your woman is in your garage, and how happy you as a woman will be if your man is doing the laundry with you. Okay? But there is another thing, collectiveness. Collectiveness is in the partnerships, is in there. The one person has a job as a computer specialist, and the other one has a job as a mechanic, right? They both go to work and they're both doing their stuff, but they bring all this energy as a return from it, within the money or material situation, so on, to put it together within the family. But that expansion that it's going to happen within a spiritual level, you're going to be understand what part of the journey is your personal and what part of the journey is your both collective. But all this is going to be needing this sharing. And this is coming back as we talked about before of this interdependence, guys. You're going to be understanding the interdependence in a very high expanding level because it's not only about you, them, the union, it's all one. It is much more broader picture because as you evolve in there, you're going to understand you're much more broader as you're expanding. And then at that moment as you expand, please, at that moment that you expand, understand your partner, be next to your partner for it, share it with your partner, and then see how it's going to be because the new expansion is coming. And let me tell you, at the beginning, we knew that much information in there. Now we know that much, but that is much how much we are going to be able to shine the light on it, the next expansion. And it's going to be taking you time to get it up here. I was talking about today with Paulina. It's like imagine you have only like a few hard drives of informations about the twin flames. You expand, and then you have all this 1,000 hard drives that it's the information. So you're trying to put something out, but there is so much is out there. So we're gonna get the new downloads. They're coming in, guys, but please be patient. First of all, within yourself, when you go into this expansion and that gray shadow area in there, but also pay patience with your partner, with the energies, with the connections. Give it a time to evolve, to grow, to adjust, to get comfortable within these new energies. Okay? Well, back to you, babe.
Oh, we have CC join the
Oh,
chat.
yeah, Cece, join the chat. And
Um, you want something to add something or?
no,
Okay, yeah, you know what was coming to me right now? The power of working on your subconsciousness and just understanding your subconscious patterns, because that's what you're gonna enter in connections that you come after. That's what you're gonna try to present, try to understand. And just the more you understand yourself and understand your shadow side, that's how you enlighten this individual part. And that's again, like, it just talks about this importance of this separation phase, that it's good to use this time to discover as much of those uncomfortable and subconscious patterns as possible, because it's once you start working with that and you show this openness, the universe is always arranging the proper people to help you with that. So sometimes we are just blocking this progress because we are, either we think there is, oh, too much trauma, like I cannot heal it. I've had so many, like, dark parts that I thought is just too much to fix. And those years, they were just piling up, and I was kind of hoping that it will get solved. And at some point, I just hit the wall. I knew that, like, no one else will solve it, and it's not going anywhere. But the more I was getting more aware of myself, I was also aware that this dark spot will not go away. So I just had to and try to understand it, you know. And in the end, what I've considered this huge trauma, it became smaller and smaller, and I was really getting a lot of help along the way. And also along the way, like, we got connected. So, you know, if I didn't decide to work on myself, and probably that may also help a lot of people, like, once you start working with yourself and your dark parts and your traumas and healing, the universe will be orchestrating more and more, and it's you will be getting lots of benefits because you're understanding yourself more, but also you will be guided towards other people, you know, who can join you, sometimes temporarily, sometimes there might be some very interesting soul connection from it, but it's just, it happens once you really embrace this healing journey and you start, you're really becoming interested in those subconscious things, because until it happens, it feels like, oh my god, this is such a vastness of dark space, I have no idea what is in there in my subconscious. But honestly, that's how you kind of increase those inner lights. So I think that's, and it gets less scary, and then you will start getting excited about it, and you will see how it always have those, there is always expansion after expansion once you understood some of those patterns in you that you didn't even know that it existed. So that's always helpful.
Those expansions. We talk about those expansions even before. And when you're expanding now in there, there is a reason why it is happening, guys. Giving you some personal thing in there. When you have this expansions happening within you, they're preparing you to face issues and heal those issues before the final stage of actual union in there. Be aware of that. Okay, some of the people when they misjudge that expansions is in there, they're they have to be ready for that expansion to comes in and to show them the pattern. It's like whatever the next expansion is, they're gonna be able to work that out. Whatever they're gonna be facing, they're gonna be working out because it's gonna be a practice for both of you of these unifications on a personal level, on all your emotional, astral, energetical, magnetic, and spirituality, philosophy, and all those levels combine into the oneness. Okay, but once you're getting into this, you're gonna be practice it, and a balance is gonna be the key. Because when the one partner is down, the other's gonna be, let me lift you up. When the other partner is down, let me lift you up. And you're gonna find this power of the connection, how it works. But there is something else. The connection itself is gonna come in and put it together. It's gonna teach you an expansion that you didn't even thought about it. Because if you look at it within yourself, you're operating kind of base what you know. But now when you reach that state and you're going into the next stage and you're going into that little gray area of expansion and everything seems like, you feel like, guess what happens isn't that? Okay? You feel like not again. You don't feel like you want to do it. But it's the same time in that great area in there, you know what's coming next. It's going to be the new energies that you're needing, the new advanced way of you're going to be. The more beautiful parts are going to be expanding, the more beautiful things is going to come in. Because you're shining the light that never been before. And you feel comfortable being uncomfortable in there. And that is your power as a twin flames in there. This. Okay? But when you're in that great area, okay, don't make permanent decisions, guys. Karen, if you're focused on yourself and this journey, things happen for you, not to you. Totally agree for it. Just to be mindful about it that when you're in that areas, if you have more stuff of doing outside of this, like too much 3D or too much this and that and so on, you're gonna feel overwhelmed. But it is about your strength to comes in and to work on it. See difficult things like a places of your own puzzle. Well, you expand it, all right, like the puzzle. Okay, let's go back into this puzzle. I like that. Karen, thank you for bringing in, by the way. Appreciate you that you're here. When you fix one part of the puzzle, you see it, right? And then it's like, oh my God, I have this another 2000 pieces because the puzzle is 2500 pieces. I only put the 500. Now I have to get into the next things and so on. What do you say of this moment? You're gonna be like, yeah, I got the 500. Let me go in there and so on. Or you're gonna be like, oh my God, this I need to organize this by colors. I need to organize by that and so on and so on. And this is what the expansion does. But expansions get you to what? To the next 500 pieces of the puzzle. And as in you exploring this new expansions inside of you for it, yeah, you might gonna feel uncomfortable. It's not gonna feel. But that is the power of uploads download. The downloads you're gonna to get in it from the universe. Every expansions that you get, they're gonna get bigger and bigger because you expanded. But you don't know that yet. Some of you know, but you don't fully realize that you have more abilities, you have more capability of understanding the things. And the more you get in it, the better it gets, right? Yes, it is. You're gonna find out because at some point, those expansions they're gonna be broadening at the things on a whole simple, new understanding, but simple. You're gonna be like, but this is so simple. How didn't I get it before? You aren't ready to understand that simplicity. That's what this is.
Mhm.
Back to you, baby.
Yeah, I like the analogy of the puzzle because it really reminded me how we are working with those patterns that we are taking this puzzle, we see the puzzle for the first time, we have no idea where it fits, so we just put it away. And then we work through the puzzles and we take the same puzzle again and we see it like, I don't know where it fits. I do it several times, but finally you realize, oh, I think this puzzle fits there. So then that's finally when you realize like, where does it fit and where should I put it. That's how we are kind of going step by step, although it's like this is like a never ending puzzle, but I really like this the idea of how we need to collect those puzzles and just make a nice picture. And sometimes you have to work on some other area of the image. Some, you're done with the bridge, let's focus on some building that you have, so you have to start collecting brand new puzzles. Sometimes like you have no idea about the shapes, but also remember that you always have this background picture that you can use. Just, and I guess like that's a very nice like explanation for our intuition. This is our background picture, but you have to be able to somehow step back a little bit just to see what is the big picture in here. When you're getting lost in your journey, like always bring it back to the piece. And like, if anything, like that's your guidelines, right? Like if you try to follow, if at some current moment you feel like it's too much overwhelming, like things are too much in my life, very often you will see that it's just because you're getting overwhelmed about either about the past or about the future. So I think that's the more you will start working on yourself as well, the more it will be like automatic response. If it gets too much, you will be getting back to your spirituality and trying to get like the proper action, the proper moment. Because without, as you said, if it's if you're in this gray period, don't do any irrational decisions. You will be practicing it more and more because you will start seeing how what you're saying, it impacts you, it impacts connection, it impacts the other person. Because what is beautiful is the more you work on yourself and you see that how much of those imperfection you've improved in yourself, you also recognize how much the person in front of you was doing, like how much work it take to really work on your awareness, work on the journey, especially if you will be connecting with someone who also have been through a twin flame experience. So I think this is a very big power. The more work you've done, the more you appreciate other person, because you see, okay, they know what it takes to embrace the journey on their own, fight with those codependencies, fight with those longings and all of those uncomfortable stages. But it's, I think that's also the beauty in all of that.
Great download for it. I love when we have those talks and the people see it, because we are live. We're not making it up. We don't have a script or anything in there. But what I'm talking about, that gray area, it's your shadow. When you expand, everything inside of you is going to expand. You're going to be looking to that gray period as in your shadow. And you're going to have that that shadow periods in there. When you have those shadow periods in there, what you knew about your shadow, every time you expand, what you knew about your shadow is going to be expanding too. And the more you're digging in, the more bigger it gets. The more issues, the more you're expanding, the more you're going to be broadening those issues. Because if you're right now like this and you have this gray area right now, but then you're expanding here, now you have this gray area here. So you're expanding, now you have this big gray area. And this is why when you go into those transitions, those stages of expansions, as you are facing in there for it, you're gonna find one thing. It's more easy for you because you've been there before. You know what you're dealing with. You know how to process in there. Okay? But it's also this every stage is gonna be testing your strength. Did you really expand here? Or you have to go back and there. And this is what, as Paulina said about the bridge, you gotta make that bridge. And then worry about the castle. Okay? Crossover. Then you're gonna build the castle in there. And then after this castle, there's gonna be another castle, another bridge, but on a big level. And that's how the expansions go on. But the same thing happens within you, and same thing is gonna be happening within the connection. When you begin to understanding these processes, yes, you're not gonna feel comfortable. But after you cross over, you're gonna be feeling great. Why? You are balanced, your energy is balanced, your shadow is not, because you're in that gray period. But after you're crossing over to the new, you're understanding the new energies, then you bringing in the new energies here, because you're a conduit of those new energies. You're doing your missions as a twin flame, as your people talk about it. Here, that's how it goes. This is how that energies comes in through you. You have to bring it the paradise on earth. It's gonna go from here to the heart, and you have to do something with the what I feel, something in the material life has to be changed, and that's how those patterns are breaking in there. I was looking at actually to a pattern breaking today and took some great notes, but we're gonna talk about some other time about this. Spoiler alert. All right. Is any of you have a questions, guys? You can ask some
Oh
questions.
yeah, that would be useful. Although I was just thinking about one thing. When exactly those things are happening? Because it's easy to expand on those higher levels. Working on those higher energies, and even in a connection. You get someone, you start doing some crazy research. You're getting familiar with all those higher energies and all those realms, and at the same time, you know that you have your 3D situation, your 3D life. Maybe you're from different places, maybe you have to start working things out. So this gray area, actually, that can be your bridge, between the moments, since again, like, you're becoming into your inner union. You're kind of learn to maybe merge your spirituality and your personal life, but at the same time, there is another step that has to be done. When you're expanding in consciousness with another person, there will be a little bit of bridge that has to be created to bring those higher energies to manifest on 3D. And it's not always comfortable, because that requires a lot of decisions that have to be done with the spirituality involved as you practice it. So I feel it's those areas just show you how much more like stable connections you can do, just to really try to create those or bring those higher energies on earth. So that's why it takes a little bit of time, because those foundations, they have to be stable, you know. So that's why even we were looking at our connection, like why it takes so long somehow to manifest those things the way we want it. And we realized that anytime we try to make our own wishes just to build it our way, or we try to help the connection will be kind of steering us its own way, as if it's really those connections that happen on a soul level, they are very nicely protected, so they are built the proper way. And it may seem that it takes a long time, maybe, you know, the other person that you have in mind, they are somehow involved in other person, because it takes really long time to properly bring it back. And at the same time, just kind of learning us, teaching us this patience, that do you really trust the connection, because it's doing always perfectly fine, it's just, are you allowing to guide it? Even on a human understanding, it can take a little bit too long, or maybe, oh, why it doesn't make sense how those two things are supposed to come together. But there is this element of faith, I think, involved, just to build this bridge.
Don't forget about it. The bridge can be built from a one side, but it's the best when it's built from the two sides and they meet in the middle. So, talking about within this in there, uh, the connection itself is gonna prepare you for this, because your lower self, your material self, your society programming, your even your personal internal desires to be with the next person next to it, the connection is gonna tell you, even if you get together, this there is a little portion there is not complete. You guys have not worked that out. This you need to prove this to you and to yourself, and that has to become a naturally. Otherwise, you're gonna facing the same thing. Here, it's how the connection is gonna comes in as a voice. Yeah, you may not gonna feel good on your society level. You're not gonna feeling good in your emotional level. You're not gonna feel like in a physical level is great. But you know what? What you don't realize, what you don't see in there, is the connection itself, sustain itself to build the properly new paradigm in the 3D. Yeah, it's not gonna be good, it's not gonna be great. But when you and your partner understanding exactly that, because the connections is guiding you, crying out loud, please trust it. Okay? Please trust it, because if you go to that gray area in there, which is that what it is between these new energies that it comes in and the connections that it comes in and your expansions in there to break those paradigms for you, you can make the decisions. I don't want my twin flames anymore. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. I don't want to have nothing with this. I don't want to know nothing with that. And I was looking at within those energies, and we talk about with Paulina's those energies, because we had similar situations prior. But now the connection is like, remember this? Remember what you happened with that? How you gonna act now, Mr. Dio and Miss Paulina? How you gonna be? And like, oh, we're not repeating that pattern. We already know. We're gonna be acting totally different. This is why when the things comes in like this, you're not bringing it to the connection. You're actually expanding the connection from the inside out. Talking about the movie Inside Out. Uh, yeah. Karen, see difficult things like placing your own puzzle. Yes, and this journey you have to allow and sometimes step back and let the new things sink in as well. Yes, you're not gonna be feel comfortable when you're walking through the new things. Can you imagine that you're living in a house that it's like 2, 3 rooms? You feel comfortable there, right? Now I'll bring you in this house that has like 100 rooms. You're like, oh my God, this is too much for me. How am I gonna do? How am I gonna this and so on and so on. And you gotta be making a step back in there. Okay, but you have to, you know, also step back. When you're facing yourself and you're trying to do something during the gray area, you have to step back, and that expansions within you. It's like, what did I did? What did I have? Wait a minute. You're stopping yourself, and with that step back, not like going with what you feel, what your triggers are, and so on and so on. You know, those triggers, they comes into you during that gray period. Okay, and that step back sometimes is a crucially important as the same time as a step forward. Okay, and that's leading to those charge like a cancer. You know, just step forward, one back. What you're pushing the energy a little bit forward, and then you have to make one step back to confirm that the energy is proper, to build that proper family energies. Okay, that's what this for it, and it's crucial. Yes, new things have to sink in. Exactly, and those new things when they sink in, it takes an enormous amount of time because your new way of process, especially your intuition, primary to understanding of this expansion is going to be your intuition. And let me tell you why. Because your intuitions, it operates on a base of your knowledge that you have. And now you're given a new knowledge. Your intuition has not accepted that knowledge yet. What do you have to learn in there? Your intuitions. And intuition is like, okay, let me see this. This is like imagine that I'm putting you on a spaceship, and you're like, what is these doors? How I'm gonna operate it with this? Have you watched a sci-fi movies? People waving something somewhere. Do you see something in there? Oh, there is this little thing in there. I don't know what it is. You go, you wave there, and the doors open, and it's you're learning the new things. But that's how it is. So start and don't try to act on a base of old intuition when you're learning new things. Patience, guys. Trust me, it's gonna pay off huge time. Okay? Huge time. So yeah, you gotta love your journey. You gotta love your journey, especially with the new expansions that right now we are going in. Woohoo! Bing! Yeah, the new expansions that it's coming in with this. Boy, that is a lot. There's gonna be a lot of videos made, so stay tuned in there. But yeah, back to you, babe.
Yeah, I wanted to just comment on this intuition things because it's you will start discerning those and you will start questioning your what you consider as intuition. You will start learning if which level the intuition comes from. Is it does it because the intuition somehow it can be really misunderstood from your emotional side, for example, or your psychological side. You know, it's just depending on the level of understanding, you may get different kinds of intuitions, and some of them may be trying to protect you from something that it's new, just because in the past you had wrong experiences related to it. But at the same time, the only way to correct some of those experiences is just to do it again. And that's there is another like very subtle layer of intuition that comes from your soul, and it's just again like you have to be in peace and to really be able to step back and see which type of intuition is guiding you, because the same kind of, let's call it emotional intuition, or the one that is more related to our ego, it's keeping people in this illusionary state that they are getting those communications in 5D, but immediately they will be putting that towards a specific person. Why it's immediately when you do that, you fall into this pattern of, oh, I know best what's my journey like. I know my best who is my twin flame. I know best who is supposed to get back to me once I become in union with myself and all this that. It's just it instead of giving you these expansions, it just keeps you in the same loop. You're not going to expand outside of this paradigm. So this kind of intuition, it's good practice to maybe try to think about that. Like, how is it in your case? Do you ever question your intuitions and take into account that sometimes it's just we are operating from the patterns? And so that's one thing. But at the same time, I was kind of asked to remind people about the gratitude for the journey, as Karen mentioned, because it always helps, as long as you want to stay on the journey as a twin flame or on your spiritual journey, this door is always open to you. But sometimes, again, it may be getting too much, too difficult, and some people clearly they are just done with this separation stage, and they just didn't they got lost on the way, and they got impatient, and they don't see the results just because they have wrong direction. So instead of expanding, that's the default state in those separation periods, they are contracting. They are, because they are going towards the direction that there is no exit. And then at some point you can see those people that complain that, oh my god, I'm done, I hate this journey. And obviously energies cannot work with you in that kind of state. But the moment you can find this little light in you that you say, okay, I can see my twin flame, like the door is closed or it's over. Some people tend to be over dramatic about this over thing. But the moment you can switch your direction and say, okay, maybe with this person the path is over, but am I able to try to see some path for myself? Maybe there is something else I have to achieve on my own. So not to be probably afraid to redirect a little bit, and just maybe trust on that as long as you want your twin flame connection or experience to continue, it can continue. And it's up to you. It's as we were talking, it requires a little bit of this courage, maybe putting your ego aside and being ready to continue your path with someone else if that's the plan for the universe, because your original person, just they are not there. And instead of waiting, you can give yourself this chance. So it's never enough reminders about it to, or maybe encouragements for people. Like the gratitude is really powerful on this journey, because like that's how you just maintain this connection in the first place. That's how you embrace the connection on your side. That's all you can do. Just trust that it's going its own way. But then whoever joins on this journey with you, this is another plan. That's part of the surprise, actually. So it's worth to continue. As long as you see some last reminder, sorry, to finish is, as long as you feel that you're involved in the connection that is ready to work with you and just maintain the connection, this balanced state, you're safe, to continue. Even if you consider that, oh my god, but my twin flame is another relationship, but it kind of feels that the universe still wants us to maintain it, it's okay, because you're still benefit from it. But the moment you see it's getting one-sided, just trust that you can still continue, and you will get someone who is ready to work on the connection with you. So that's my point.
Don't go to extremes. And they just gave me a download for you guys to understand. What is the implosion? Implosion, when this, I can take it right now, and I can squeeze it, and I'm closing it in there, and I'm closing it tight. See the bottle right now? This is how some of you shut down that bottle. That bottle is shaked up a little bit because inside it's supposed to be have this water in there, and that brings to build that pressures in there. Now that bottle becomes its natural state. What will happen if you add so much air? That bottle is gonna be blown up parts. Your bottle is you. What you gotta put it inside of that bottle, that's what you're going to drink. But with this closing yourself out, as Paulina said, those implosion within yourself, you shut yourself down. But it's also with these explosions that it comes in, you're tearing yourself out into pieces, and you're tearing out the connections into pieces. Just so, wow, you need to understand to give time to expand. because you are born like this bottle, but imploded tight. And now there is new energy that comes in and you're expanding. And through that process of the bottle, when at times is expanding, you have not seen the full beauty of your bottle, full beauty of your soul, as that bottle represents the soul. Okay? So you're that vessel in there. But it's a very critical to some of you to get to this point because once you're passing, there is this certain threshold. You're passing really within your mind, consciousness, and everything out there in a way up. You still exist in this body. You're gonna feel like ancient within yourself. Certain things is not gonna resonate, and that is okay. Certain things they're not gonna be the way it was back in there, and that is okay. You're not anymore this squeezed bottle. Accept that. But if you feel comfortable being this squeezed bottle, if you feel comfortable with the areas that you are, if you feel comfortable within the life, you're not gonna grow. But if you understand and you see the visions that you're that beautiful big bottle in there, if you're understanding that expansions within yourself, you're gonna be seeking it to be uncomfortable, of being uncomfortable during the changes. And that is going to be bringing you this peace because you're understanding the process. You're going through this evolution state, and this evolution state brings that expansions for its purpose. As you have purpose, why did you came here? For a purpose. So remind you this yourself for you, and the connection is going to be reminding you. You see, it's not about your partner to remind you. It's not about you to remind your partner, oh, you should have done this, or she has to do this, or Dio has to do something. Nah. Listen very carefully. The connection is talking to you. Okay? It's helping you to expand, but it also help you to keep the connections alive. Question is how you listen there. And the more you expand, the better we will listen. Okay? All right, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have some anything else or anything you guys want us to talk about it, let us know for it. We have some quite a few things in the list, but we coming out once a week religiously in there, and we're gonna bring some more stuff to you guys. Hopefully, you take these new energies and you evolve. So
Yeah, I have one last note because when you were talking about this bottle, it came to me that how people can know that they are in this squeezed state when they're it's just not enough air in this bottle and they're all flat. That can happen the moments that you maybe picking up some of those 5D energies that you have some communication that it's not happening in 3D, as if those higher energies that you're picking up, they are not able to manifest. So that might be that your cork is just closed because it's the air cannot come in because you don't allow it. So that should be probably for people who are feeling that oh, but in 5D my connection is expanding so much, like we are merging more and more, why it's not manifesting. It's just maybe there are some blocks in this level that it's kind of asking you to stay more flexible and just put the trust and really to ask them for more guidance how the connection itself may come into fruition. But maybe it's always useful to put your wishes aside, just be really open as much as it wants to manifest in 3D. And you may be surprised because it may not be related to the specific person you think, because your 5D communication that you pick up is from your, how do I say that, from other expression of your twin flame. But this 3D that you thought that your twin flame, this is not that person, but it's just, so there is a little bit of like flexibility that probably people may implement just to practice. If you see some miscommunication between 5D energies and what is manifested here on earth, just to you know, challenge yourself, you know, just be ready to for this connection to unfold any way it wants. So just reminder, you know, just check your bottles. If you're all squeezed, or are you ready to take more fluids and see where this journey wants to take you.
Dio is a cheese.
You're welcome, Karen.
All right. Okay. Here is, as we're gonna help you here as a partnership, how it works without anything. All right, guys. So, what is Paulina wanted about to say was about this. You're a little bit cracked open, and the bottle is squeezed, as you see it, and you learn what you want, and you shut yourself down. You close your soul, you close your accepting those energies, and nothing can get in. Well, there is nothing can get out. So you open up your mind, you open up your heart, you open up your soul. Okay, now it's open. Okay, this is who you are. Now the new air goes in, you're expanding in there. Now you can accept, but you can also drink. You cannot drink if your cup is closed, if your soul is closed, if your heart is closed. You can consume it. This is what Paulina was trying to tell you guys. This right here has to be open when it needs to be opened. Because sometimes you have to close that cap. Okay? Not because of anything else. Sometimes you have to close this cap because of others. Sometimes you're gonna carry this bottle with you. If that bottle flips upside down, it's gonna leak everything out, right? Then you're gonna be without energy. Sometimes this energy that is in there within you, okay, is you. But you have to understand the proper way of when they should be open and when they should be closed. And that it comes in with the level of acceptance and a journey that it comes in. But the connection is going to be asking you about it. When to open, what to open, how to open, and so on and so on. Because most of the time, when you using it, most of the time, when you put water, it stays open. You're using it. Most of the time, you drink water and you're using it, it stays open. This is why you need to stay open. With the mindfulness that when it needs it, you need to close. But that is you. Okay. And from these 5D experiences in there, guys, you're going to be understanding the energy management. But that's a whole another topic about this and so on and so on. Karen, yes. Maybe check Dio's 3 level of symbiosis and accept the reality on 3D. That symbiosis you were talking about today with Paulina is like, you know, she's like looking at within me, is like, what is going on? I'm on this gray area of that expansions of all these informations that comes in from the symbiosis. This is our next level. We are talking to you about this. Do you know how much more simplified is this? Instead of you having a flashlight that you're going to shining into the darkness of expansions right now, you just increase the light from within you that it comes in, and you're going to be seeing at this. But it takes time to process. So much info is going to comes in with the symbiosis, because that is a leading through the nature, how the nature, the primary bacteria, the primary viruses, the primary flora and the fauna works on it. Okay, works on it. Those is universal principles in there. You're gonna have a lot of connections to the mother natures with this. You're going to be connecting all those viruses and all this stuff inside of you. You're going to be understanding the symbiosis when you're getting in the soul connections with others. You're going to living into the nature created by the universe. Mel, rest in peace, Baba. Thank you so much for everything. One of his last video, he said one thing. I hope these twin flame relationships evolve to something more. It is evolving. It is evolving. The question is are you evolving? Are you have that cap off of your bottle? And there. And one of those open up within us is the symbiosis. We're not making anything. The journeys bring it into it. We did not create it, the flora and the fountains million years ago. We are living here and now. We have to understand why we're here and now. Excuse me, but you need to understand everything, all the processes that it's there. So that is your true starting point, not getting stuck in 5D experiences. Oh my God, yeah. That's this stuck in a 5D experience. Oh my God, we've seen it so much. We've seen it so much. We've been through so much. Guys, I tell you that the reason we came out is because we went through so much personal experience here. It's not because of it is what it is. But hopefully you take that experience. Hopefully something within you is helping you in your journey. Okay, because this is gonna help in the future generations. Doesn't matter how much advanced right now we're talking about it, but this is what we came for. To bring the advance, to bring the new energies up here. That's what this is. All right, guys. That's all I have for you. There's gonna be more coming in, so chill out, relax. We're gonna make some more videos, guys. Okay? We got some more stuff coming in, but we want those stuff takes natural path. Okay? Natural path. As the same, the mother nature naturally path. You made those symbiosis between species and so on, and teaches because you forgot to learn from Mother Nature. You know, you can learn from 5D and the universe. And the universe says, like, have you learned first your nature of the world that you're living in? Because in the base of the world that you're living in, that's what you are. Because you're living in that world, you're part of that world. Oh my God, so much. Oh, the symbiosis downloads, and oh God, I feel like I can talk for years. Sorry, guys, it is what it is. All right, guys. If there is no more questions, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for watching us, and be love. So just continue to be love, guys. Okay, and I'm gonna sharing with you the gifts, and hopefully you guys take what you need, take what resonates with you. So that will be from me, guys.
Yeah, like, oh, one last comment. Blessing to you both doing this green journey together. Yeah, and this is, yeah, I was trying to understand like what is the purpose and why we've been through this experience and why like we were made to get out of the twin flame paradigm and where is it going. And it's really, I think it's very helpful for people to see the example of individuals who decided to grow unless not unless but in other ways that their own ego was thinking about the journey. And it's really, there was those times to be tested and decide like, are you really choosing the journey no matter the circumstance. And it's getting excited, and I'm really happy that many people are going through this next stage, and that really they are broad enough to see this journey from different perspectives. So happy to share.
Happy to share with you guys. Be love.
Take care, guys, and see you next time. And if you have an idea for the topic, you there's a question in your mind, just feel free to comment. And yeah, see you next time.